Welcome to this week's podcast, One Piece Chapter 1023, 1024, and 1025. Here with me today is Verpal,
Hey, hey.
Manga After Dark.
Was good, y'all.
Okay, so just to know what we're talking about, we're gonna be talking about each topic of the 1023 about the ancient race before Marishra, Zoro and Sanji versus Queen, Ararashi and Nikomamushi and Jack and Fire Sparrow, and Raizo versus Fujiroda and Momo's transformation. So for now, we're going to be talking about 1023. So before we start, what do you guys think of the cover page in 1023?
Um, I like it. I think it's cute. I'm glad to see Vivi. And Karo's still jealous and sorry, Karu still jealous, trying to shoo everyone away from her.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I agree. It's a pretty adorable cover page. You know, Vivi's a fan favorite. Some more Vivi is always a good thing. You know, can't wait for her to join the Straw Hats. So we're
Do you
waiting
think
on
she'll
her.
join? You think she'll join? I feel like
In one, she's gonna sail with them one shape or the other. Like somehow, some way, she's gonna be back on the sunny sailing with them for some
yeah.
reason.
I'm
I have
definitely
a
of the
feeling
opinion.
I have a feeling she might be in the revolutionary.
See, that's what I
Yeah,
think. I think Kuma may
Let's
have.
talk about it. That's why I said let's talk about it like in a
True, true.
theory. Okay. So let's open up to the first chapter, and this is the very hyped up about the ancient race, about the ancient race before Marishoa. So we're gonna be, let me put, sorry, I think they're not in order, sorry. Let's Zoro versus Queen, sorry, Zoro Sanji versus King and Queen. So what do you guys thought about that versus them?
I remember hearing some theory of like the world government being anti like flight for some reason. Like they don't like the technology for like flight crafts like planes and stuff is probably out there, but it's like illegal. It could be why like there are no dragons except for Kaido, and so it would make sense that like if King is a part of this like ancient race that used to be on Mary Joa, maybe the wings on his back are like actually his wings and not from his fruit, and that's why maybe he's the last one. Maybe the world government wiped them out.
Or maybe he's part of the ancient kingdom that was wiped out.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
so like, I definitely believe those are like his actual like wings because like the pterodon wings aren't like covered in feathers. Like when he does his own
Hmm.
transformation, his actual wings disappear and it's his arms that become his wings.
Yeah.
It makes no sense how he should have an extra set of wings, like how Kaido has an extra set of horns because he has natural horns. That's a
Yeah.
different discussion for a different topic.
Okay.
Um, but like all the space people slash sky people all have wings of some kind. Like,
Hmm.
and they said that that race used to be on the moon and then it relocated to the top of the red line. So, like, whatever is going on with the moon people and the sky people that causes them to have wings, whatever kings, the Lunarians. Oh, sorry, we're talking about Zoro and Sanji versus King and Queen. My bad. Um, but yeah, like, there's something going on with the wings there. But like in terms of Zoro and Sanji versus King and Queen,
Mhm.
like these were the fights we all expected at the start of Wano, like Kaido's top commanders versus Luffy's top commanders. I just I think it's unfulfilling about how we got to the point where Zoro and Sanji should be able to fight them. On paper, this should be a one side stomp for King and Queen. They should just like legit mow through Zoro and Sanji, no problem. Because like with all we learned about how hockey gets stronger in like adverse situation, what adverse situation has Zoro been in the post time skip? Zoro's literally cakewalked all of his opponents. I don't like,
I mean, he did struggle against Kaido, so
but like that was like just now.
and he kind of like he kind of was in a T pose at one point, you know.
But like that's too much Dragon Ball Z, where it's like when you recover, you're like 10 times as
Yeah,
strong. When you like, they're
yeah,
like, all we needed was actual fights for Zoro at some arc throughout the, like, rather be Dressrosa, make the fisherman actually strong in Fisherman Island. There's many things Oda could have done to justify Zoro just being a legit Commander One level dude, huh? Same thing with Sanji, the toughest
Well,
thing, like
I
his
think for
ability.
both of them, it's a little different because
mhm,
I think we saw both Zoro and Sanji probably were not at this level prior to
yeah,
Wano.
mhm,
I think you could like solidly say that based on like Sanji versus Virgo, Sanji and Whole Cake, and then Zoro versus the Fishman Pirates, Pika, and so we get Whole Cake Island. Sanji gets his buff in the raid suit, and then and then Zoro gets Enma. And while I don't think Enma's like hard carrying him like over the line, I think the fact that Enma like pulls out his hockey is
mhm.
definitely some kind of like control
It's a
and
buff.
buff to
It's
his
a buff.
hockey.
It's a
Yeah,
buff. It's
and
like a
so
gear.
like
It's
yeah,
gear.
I definitely think they're only at able to have this fight because of those things. I think they were pretty in line otherwise.
Hmm.
I'm just saying, like Luffy versus Katakuri was dog walking that man for like 10 hours.
He
And like,
was.
that's that's how Luffy got his power up. He got he got beat down. Like
So
he fought Cracker for 10 plus hours, getting beat down.
yeah,
Zoro and Sanji have not gone through anything near that, except
yeah,
for Zoro on the rooftop like a half hour ago. Like I don't like. I love
yeah.
him, but Oda, come on now.
I mean, like, it's also with this Zoro versus Sanji and Killeen. To me, is like a representative of that. It's like a term of Luffy's ready to become the king of the pirates,
Mhm.
where he has his commanders. That, like what Robin was saying, there are the wings that would help Luffy to soar to be the king of the. Like she was saying that we're ready to soar. We're ready to make Luffy the king of the pirates. And as a statement of a straw hat, that is big. Usually they were like, okay, we're ready, we're thing. But for someone as wise as Robin to say that they're ready to, like, both of them ready to take on the part to get ready to be a pirate queen, like, it's just something monumental. Like I agree with you. I want Zoro and Sanji to get beat down and then get raised up to But at the same time, I feel like this is also a representative for Luffy, saying that we're not backing down with this fight. We're not backing down. My crew's already believing me, and they have this strength believing to Luffy that, like, they know. Remember, like, Luffy took an L, like, down. He got knocked down. Momo had to raise him up. Everybody was panicking. Their morals were thing. You know how that went through, and now, um with this, like, we believe it, Luffy, even if he brings down, how Zoro's like nothing happened situation
Yeah.
kind of thing. So it's kind of the same exact point. Their conviction and their thing is what solidified them as a thing. Now I do want to discuss about the ancient race before we move into Nikamamushi and Jack. So let's start with you. After dark, you had so much you wanted to add to it. So let's go to the ancient race before
Yeah,
marriage.
so like they're like there's we know there's space people in One Piece from the
Yes.
Anel cover story. And from like the some of the lore, so there's people on the moon. Some left to come to Earth, and some stayed up there in some fashion. So
Hmm.
like the
And
I
some
think
are in Skypiea.
exactly, yeah. So the question is King's race like how the Skypeans can view them as angels? Is King's race the devils? Like we have black wings, y'all have white rings. My race could cause
Ah.
fire. Like King could legit cause fire. Like that's not part of his devil fruit. He admits fire just naturally, just because. So, and like Queen even pointed out, like, yo, Sanji, why are you just spontaneously bursting into flames? Oh, you must be part Lunarian. Sanji's like, no, I'm human. And Queen was like, you're dumb. Humans don't burst into flames. Queen's 1000% right. Humans, as far as we know in One Piece, cannot just
That is
spontaneously burst
true.
into flames.
Actually, that is one true because in Water 7, we thought that when Sanji was making the fire, we thought it was a friction
Yeah,
into fire. But now that he doesn't need to spin, we just like, huh? Why is he combusting
yeah.
fire?
Post
That don't
time skip
make
just
sense.
does he just does it. Like my
Yeah,
feet catch on fire. So
yeah,
it's like there's something going on there with Sanji's body, as he indicated as well. But like
yeah.
we know King is the last one allegedly of his race. Big Mom says, "I have every race but yours." So whatever the race is called, well, they're Lunaris. So like whatever happened in their story, they went through some type of annihilation, whether it be because the world government attacked them,
Hmm.
something, or there was like a civil war that happened. But it must be fairly recent because King isn't that old. The SBS gave
True.
his age. So whatever happened that
Do you
killed his
think?
race. Go
Hold
ahead.
on. Do you think it's kind of the same with Robin? It's kind of wiped out.
A Buster Call? That'd be, but the Buster Call needs positive lore. Every time we've seen it, it
No,
didn't
because
work.
if you think about it, if you no no no, the reason I wanted to add the Buster Call was because if you think about it, Robin is like 34 or something, and I don't know how old is King is and stuff. I think he's in 50 or something. It makes sense to have Buster Call to
Yeah,
thing to wipe out an island,
yeah,
and
it needs
maybe
positive lore. I think making a Buster, the world government press the
yeah.
golden Denton Mushi, like get rid of these sky people.
No, I feel
Um,
like I feel like it's in the thing. Like there were multiple. Like I didn't think it was Jaya. You remember how Jaya was fallen right
yeah,
in the ground? So I feel like it's not just Jaya. I felt like it was some kind of different race that actually fell. Like couple races fell into the ocean of the blue east. Like you have the white sea and then the blue sea. I felt like there was an actual people who fell in there that was in his race, and that also I think they felt like the world government felt threatened, just like the Oraha incident, that they feel like this thing cannot exist. We need to
yeah,
wipe them out, and the only survivor is King. And during that time, I have a feeling during at that time, remember what is going on during the time? It was Roger and Garp's reign at that time, remember? So
Mhm.
maybe during that time, maybe Kaido discovered King.
like it is fairly, yeah. Go
Um.
ahead, sir.
Well, Kaido was a part of the Rocks Pirates
Yeah,
for a
but
while,
keep
though.
in mind he was brink of death. He was a brink of death. Big Mom said, I gave you the devil fruit. You were on the brink of death. So what did he
Hmm.
do after that? He must have found King by that time, right?
I'm just trying to think timeline wise how that would have lined up.
So if I remember correctly, King is in SBS. They said Oda said King is 49.
I think so, yeah.
And
So
Kaido is
he's like,
57, something like that. 58.
How old is
so that would put King a little over 10 years older than Robin. So I mean, the Buster Call would definitely work. It's just whether or not it would have lined up with God Valley.
yeah.
Let's
What's
see.
his real age? Okay, so in right now, Garp and Sengoku are 78 and they're
Mhm.
79. So uh yeah, Kaido's in his
King. Sorry,
50s.
go ahead.
King is in his 50s.
King is in his 50s.
Kaido is.
Kaido.
Yeah, I just look. King is 47. God Valley was 38 years ago, so King would have had to have been 9,
Yeah,
which
no.
wouldn't be too off because Robin was only 8 when Buster
Yeah.
Call happened on O'Hara,
Mhm.
and that would I think it would be okay for him to like, if he were the last survivor, he was an 8-year-old kid when it happened.
Yeah. Mhm. That is true.
Yes, like because I don't. Yeah, I'm interested to see how they met. Like, at what point was King did King come across Kaido? Was it that
Hmm.
like Kaido saved the King? Was it
Or
that
maybe he was like he saw Kaido as the strongest person, and I think that he just admired his strength.
yeah, he might have been like how Robin went with Crocodile for protection? Like, oh shit, like they're chasing me. Let me go on this dragon. It's probably the perfect place to hide from the world
Yeah.
government.
I don't blame
But
him.
since there's a like either Sanji is part Lunarian or there's more Lunarians out there. Like otherwise the plot point ends when King gets defeated, and it makes no sense to have that as a plot point.
Then that means the judge and the rest are Lorarians then.
No, it's like judge modify like human modification. Like the world government has been trying to modify humans for generations
So
now.
basically, the brothers and sisters of Sanji, then they're no longer Loranians because of the modification kind of
No,
thing.
like like Judge took DNA, like lineage factor, from a Lunarian and implanted into Sanji, DNA from something else to put into Yanji, Niji, Ichiji, and Reiji. Like they're all like genetically modified to different extents. Because like it's either that or there's another Lunari we're gonna see. Because otherwise, what's the point of the plot point? Big Mom
Well,
will kidnap King at the end of Wano.
Yeah.
Like where are we going with this?
I could
Mhm.
see it. I could see it being like what Kiwi said, where it's like the Lunarians came down, and then they kind of like split from there. You had the ones who stayed in Skypiea, and then you had the ones who went down to the Blue Sea, who ended up
Mhm.
looking like devils. Like you said, King's wings are black. They're not like the White Angel wings.
So yes, like I'm really curious how they're gonna rope this in. Will this be the way to tie a nail back into the story?
I
I
hope so. I
Like,
pray for
hope
it every night.
because the reason I said this is because I feel like it's kind of like when you talk about that, it's I don't know if you know about the Christian thing. I think Otis adding that kind of thing where you know how the angel Satan was pulled down to the earth or something like that. I don't know if in the Bible or something like that. It was
I
turned to the earth, and then
Yeah,
like, it's some kind of like that.
yeah,
So
it
it's
was,
yeah. He was cast down from the heavens for his rebellion.
yeah, he
yeah, so
refused
it's
to
kind
bow
of
to
so I
humans.
worse
Yep.
makes sense because Laura L starts with a thing. It's like Laura, yeah. So it kind of makes sense that Lorrainians are kind of like the demon race.
So yes, like it's I'm pretty curious. I'm curious to see where this plot point goes. That's
Okay,
the most I'm curious
we'll
about the
continue that
development.
discussion. So
So yeah,
let's
there's one thing I wanted to add, but that'll be later about
okay.
this.
Okay, we'll thing. Let's go to Urashi and Nikomamushi versus Jack and Sparrow. So, what do you guys think about that? Uh, let's go. Verpal.
I have been in the camp this whole time that Inuarashi is going to lose to Jack. That he's about to catch this L. As much as I like Inuarashi, I also like Jack. I'm just like
Are you
every
sure
time,
about that?
right?
I mean, the recent chapters is kind of
I know. I was disappointed, but Up to this
I'm just
point, Jack had fought every time he fought the Minx. It was he came away with the W every time. I mean, he pretty
Every
much like
time.
well, okay, so he went to Zoe. He essentially decimated their entire civilization.
but keep in
Uh,
mind it wasn't full moon, so
Yeah, like
right, it
talking about
wasn't
on
full
that
moon,
rooftop, on that
but
rooftop.
so yeah, he goes to the rooftop and then he solos pretty much the entirety of the Minx who are in Sulong form, and then only loses to Nekomamushi and Inarashi. And I'm like, okay, I got to give Jack credit where credit's due. Like he's put in the work. Of the three calamities, Jack here has shown up.
yeah, that is true.
So
Well,
What
so
about
yes,
you?
like it was. I'm really like first. I want to point out how Jack's hybrid form is the elephant centaur thing. It threw me off because it had 6 limbs. Same with Black Maria, but Oda clarified that in the SBS as well. So like, all right, Oda, thanks for clearing that up. Um, so like, so like,
oh, wait. Black Maria's in
she had
hybrid
two
form.
heads. She had 2 heads.
So okay, so the second head is her hybrid form then.
No, so like she turned her entire lower half into a spider and kept her upper half.
Oh, okay. I didn't. Okay, okay. That
So
makes
Oda,
more sense.
so Oda confirmed that there is no actual rules behind zone transformations. Like we always just thought it's an anthropomorphized version of the animal you had. He's like, no. There's no actual rule. You could mess with the transformations however you deem fit. So that's why Jack threw me off when I first said, like, wait a minute, what the hell's going on? But he is disrespected a lot in the community. But that's because Oda literally gives like Oda treats him like a throwaway character. Like when he loses, it's quick, fast, and he gets disrespected. Like it's not like when Neku Inu first went Sulong, he got off screened. A commander got off screened. We just showed up again. When Kyle said, "No, don't hurt him." Like Oda, come on now. So
Listen,
hopefully the
listen.
anime will flush that out. But like I I want to talk about
Hey,
how strong Peril Sparrow is. Peril
that means
Sparrow,
it's gonna be in the anime. We're gonna see him lose if you say it was off screen.
they're gonna flush out the fight. It's not gonna be like Jack shows up and then the next screen he's on the ground. They're gonna show some moves. They're gonna give us some named attacks. They're not gonna the anime's not gonna disrespect Jack like the manga did. But
Listen,
Peril
even with
Sparrow,
Jack getting off screen, I still think he's earned some clout.
he depends on how strong you think Inarashi is, because people think he's not that strong, but they're strong because Jack's strong. We can't treat Jack like he's not a commander. But Peril
Exactly.
Sparrow, why is he not a commander for Big Mom? He is
So
like you cannot convince me Smoothie could beat him in a fight. You just can't. You can't convince me that Cracker will beat him in a fight. Like what?
I actually talked about this with my roommates. I think Pero Sparrow is like second in command of the Big Mom Pirates is either Katakuri or Pero Sparrow.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, and I think Pero Sparrow, the reason he's not considered a sweet commander is in terms of strength, he probably is weaker than Smoothie and Katakuri. And I know it sounds
No,
wrong to say
listen,
Smoothie because we have like
it
no
makes
feats for her.
I think it makes sense because I feel like in I agree with Verfel. I feel like it's more in Commanders is that how physical, like the impact physical. With
Mhm.
Ferris Sparrow, he has good offense and like defense, and he's a really good. But do you think like he has the strength, like how freaking what's his name, Katy Curry, like jam freaking
I'm not arguing
Luffy,
Katakuri.
or with Smoothie, how she could just squeeze
Yes,
like
I
thing.
think Peril
I'm
Sparrow
just saying,
eats smoothie every day, twice on Sunday. I I don't like
but I feel
what
like Smoothie could just squeeze like
Peril
him.
Sparrow. He wins in 5. He like this is not like I don't
Oof.
like. I don't see how, based off of the stuff we've read, that we could
Yeah.
say Smoothie could beat Peril.
I think it's more
Peril
like physical, like how many, impactful or how destructive you can be.
I
Or
want to give Smoothie the benefit of the doubt because of her rank. It's like, yes, we haven't seen anything from Smoothie because all she's done is pursue ships or get memed on because she's on a ship.
I,
So,
you know
like,
what? I like Smoothie, but the problem is that when they introduced her, I thought she was gonna be opponent for Robin. I wanted to see some hands. I wanted to see some opponent, but no, it or Nami, and then it's just like, oh well, she got memed on, like you said,
I
like.
yeah.
still think she will. Like we're going to get a Big Mom Pirates versus Straw Hats Pirates 2. We're gonna get Luffy with his actual
Hmm.
full crew versus Big Mom and her crew. We're gonna get these rematches again. Um,
Yeah, and I think at
just
that
like
point we'll actually see Smoothie like earn
yeah,
in the community's eyes at least earn the
she's gonna
title of
lose to
Sweet
Robin.
Commander.
She's gonna lose to Robin,
You
and
think
then
she's
people are
gonna
like,
lose to Robin?
yes,
I
yes.
could I could 100% see a situation where like if Yamato joins the Straw Hats, it's like Yamato versus Smoothie, Zoro versus Katakuri, and
I
maybe
wouldn't.
Sanji versus Perospero.
I wouldn't be mad at that. Actually, I wouldn't be mad. If she loses to Robin, the slander will just get more intense.
I mean, yes, it absolutely will. Which
I'm gonna be sad. I'm in the hype for Yamato joining, but I'm kind of sad now because I wanted Carrot to join. But you know what? I'll retract my statement for that. But before we do, we let's go to another amazing fight that I really want to talk about. Raizo versus
Fukuro
Furukawa.
Kuju.
Rokuju.
Yeah, that
Oh
fight.
boy. Um.
Oda, why? Oda, why?
Yes. Yes. I'll be honest, like going into this fight, I was super excited. We're gonna get like a ninja ditto, like sick, hype. Why does Fukurokuju fight with his earlobes?
Oh man,
If
Oda.
there was
Oh,
if I ever had like a singular complaint of One Piece,
I
it's
mean,
just how ridiculous it can be sometimes.
you can't complain. Mr. Five, you remember?
I
He
didn't like Mr. Five either because he fought with his
that
boogers.
was one of the biggest waste of an awesome devil fruit this series has ever seen.
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus Christ, Oda wasted that devil fruit.
I mean, that's why for me when he did the airdrop, it's not as big deal as for me Mr. Five because I can't. Mr. Five was to me kind of worse because Zoro said, "Ew, I slice a snow."
I was with Zoro there too. I'm like, I
I was
that's
like,
disgusting.
that's
Yeah.
disgusting, and it was like much disgusting than I guess the thing. And honestly, I like why Oda. That was more disgusting. And he was going like this and then flicking at things. And I'm like, I didn't know boogers can cause bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah, this fight is a waste of panel time.
It was
No
more
one
funny to me, but it's
cares.
interesting though.
I just end this fight, please. Just like give Raizo some like knockoff Rasengan ability and then end the fight, please. It's not waste your panel time with
He's
it.
my good dude, the sexy jutsu, you know.
Yeah, well, maybe that. Maybe yeah.
Hey,
Maybe
hey.
just give him.
I mean, listen, Oda and Kishimoto are friends. I could
They
see it.
are. So like,
He wouldn't care.
yeah, it's gonna be some type of parody of a Naruto move. Maybe it's a knockoff Chidori, something. Like, and just end
I
the
didn't think
fight.
it's a knockoff Chigori. I think it's gonna be more of knockoff of Tenten because he kind of have the villain.
You have a point. You have a good point there.
No, but if you actually look at it, he has a shuriken, he has a scroll,
That's
and who
true.
has that ability? It's
That is
Tenten.
true. So we see like a giant spiked ball
And
appear,
remember
crush
the fight.
for
I don't know.
Kuj.
Wait. remember Tenzin versus what's her name? The girl with the wind.
Tamari.
Kamari.
Tamari. Remember she had the scroll kind of thing. It's
Yeah,
kind of the same with Raizo. He was using scroll as a defense against
that is
kind of
true.
thing.
Listen,
Luckily, it's in the
I
fight.
think the fight could be cool. I just wish Fukurokuju did anything else aside from fight with his earlobes. Like that's where Oda lost me. I was like, ninja fight in One Piece, sick. I get pirates, ninjas, space pirates. Like, what else could I get out of this series? And then Oda's like, psych, earlobes.
Wait, could it be he's the one who saved like the what's that called, the people, remember the mystery
All the
person?
9 red scabbards.
Yeah, remember they were down and stuff.
That
Remember he
would be
it
the
makes
biggest
sense because he
troll.
has law.
That
Hmm. Fukurokuju did say he's essentially like it's not that he's loyal to Orochi specifically, that he's just loyal to the throne.
Yeah.
But
And
my
so I
issue.
guess
Go ahead.
I would say I guess technically at that time Odin had claim to the throne, so it would make sense for Fukurokuju to help. But he was already working with Orochi at that point.
But at the same time, if you think about it, is that you have what's his name? Um uh Made an image of Oda. I mean not Oda. Um
Oh, Kanjuro.
Tanjiro made a image of
Drawing.
a drawing of what's his name? I always
Odin.
Odin, and you have Roku. Oh, what his name is? Fukuroji. Maybe he thought that Odin is back, or like, oh my king, I helped your thing. Could be. I don't know.
Maybe.
He's not an important enough character to have that role.
True.
You never know. You never know.
Remember when people thought Hote was going to be like a top tier fighter?
Oh my.
I do remember that.
All right. So before we go to 124, what do you rank this chapter?
1023.
Yeah. What do you rank about this chapter?
I thought this chapter was a 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. It wasn't like super big. It didn't like do a whole bunch, but there was a lot of build up, just a little progression here and there. There's definitely plenty to speculate on. I mean, we're getting some more information on like the Lunarians, which is cool. Seeing the progression of some of the fights, time's moving. The last panel of the chapter is that epic panel of Luffy and adult
And Momo.
Momo's, yeah, which is like sick.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a good chapter.
Oh yeah, before we do the ranking, sorry, we forgot to talk about it. But what do you guys think of Momo? The transformation of it.
That was a community theory from like day one.
It was.
People were shitting on relentlessly. Oh, this is horrible. This is trash. No way Oda's going to do something so dumb. So then it happens. I mean, I
Yeah.
accept it. Like it was bad then. It's bad now. It's just not. We're gonna mature Momonosuke to the point where he's 28 years old. I
Like
guarantee he's gonna look exactly like Odin. Like he's gonna be like a mirror image of Odin, aesthetically. Um,
I thought Bonnie would do it. I
I
was hoping.
mean, Bonnie could revert him back to his original size.
Mm-hmm.
That could like somehow get Bonnie into the story. Because I think I wanted Momo to sail with the Straw Hats because like the dynamic of having a 8-year-old on the crew, I think that would mirror Roger. But if he's like 28 and like strong, I don't know. But he
We're
shouldn't
gonna
be
have
strong.
another Luffy. There's gonna there he his mind is gonna be a kid, so
Yeah,
he's
so
gonna.
like, and I guess Zoro could train him while he's still on the ship in his 28-year-old
Mm-hmm.
body, and then maybe they find Bonnie. She makes him young again. But I definitely want Momo to join the crew, but I just don't know how the dynamic would work if he turns out to have like
Mm-hmm,
legit dragon abilities.
I
mm-hmm.
think him being 28, like So my biggest issue with this is like what this means. Assuming the raid ends successfully, we beat Kaido, we beat Big Mom. Most of the people are alive. So like, what does it look like? Is Hiyori going to take the throne? Is Momo going to take the throne? Is Yamato going to look over Wano? Like, what are we doing here? That's really my biggest issue. I don't have a problem with him being 28 otherwise, especially if he gets on the Straw Hats crew. Because, like you said, like Zoro can train him. I don't think he's just like being 28 is going to make Momo strong. I think he'll still need to train. And all this has done is just remove the roadblock of like, hey, you're an 8-year old. There's just like a physical wall you're going to run into at some point. Um, Now it's like, hey, you're 28, you still have the mind of a child, so you still get that dynamic of like of how he always acted before, and so you still get the same relationship with Luffy. You get the funny bait and switch where like he used to bathe with Ramen and Nami, and all the other guys were jealous, and now he can't because he's 28. Um, yeah,
And then
I think
he's gonna cry and say, "I want to be."
right, right. It's so like
Yeah.
there's a lot to play around with there.
But for me, actually, it's a lot different for me. I want Momo to be older because at one point at the time, I always thought like Momo and Yamato would, like, I felt like Yamato like, for me, the reason I want Yamato, like, as much as I want her to join the Straw Hats, I want Yamato to stay and help basically be, like, if he wants to be, she wants to be Odin, help her open Wano. So meaning like help um Momonosuke to open Wano when he was 8, even though she, like, like he was a kid. Now that he's 28, he's gonna be a shogun anyway. He's gonna be taking it apart, and he's gonna open, like the the borders because of that. But I still want Yamato to help thing, because for me it's like, there, even if he, like an adventures, and it'll be fun to have Yamato in the crew and stuff, I still have a feeling that there is something, that a role that Yamato has to do in order in one, because I feel like Odin has an unfinished business in Wano when he died. And I think that was one thing that he smiled, but at the same time he kind of regret. That's why he saved everyone. That's why Hiyori was like his, I mean, not Hiyori, his wife, kind of sent the 12 scabbards and stuff. There were a purpose for doing this kind of situation. So I feel like it's kind of a waste putting this 20-year kind of gap in there, and then see it as in like, oh well, Momo's going with the Straw Hats, or saying, who's gonna take it over, who's gonna open, where's the purpose of the Wano? Like, that's the reason why I could not see traveling with the Straw Hats or Yamato. That was the only inkling. If you tell me there is someone who is greater, like, like thing, then I would accept it. But I doubt Hiyori would take it, because they don't, I don't think they want a woman to be an emperor, or in Japanese way. I don't think so. So they need a male to rule. So in a sense, we'll go with Momo. But that's just my idea. What do you guys
So,
think?
so I would
No, I
say,
don't.
go
Go ahead.
ahead, Verbal.
I was gonna say like I don't disagree. I think ultimately it probably will be Momo.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I it's just like kind of like a fan thing. Like I would have enjoyed having Momo on the Straw Hats post Wano.
Yeah.
But I do think ultimately he probably will stay on Wano to lead it.
Yeah.
So I definitely so in my opinion, I think it should be Hiyori because she's experienced Wano. Like Momo does not know anything about Wano. His frame of reference of Wano is 8 years as a child. Then
That
he
is
left.
true, but
Then
you
he left.
remember, woman we're talking about ancient in thing, and there's, you know how they treat the woman there. It's like prostitution. So it's like it's there's no way, even if you are blood and royalty, you cannot have the power of a shogun.
I definitely have no issue. I definitely don't. I think it's
I mean,
above
I love
Oda.
being Hiyori to be the, but I'm just saying, like in the Japanese lore kind of thing.
No, I definitely get you. I
Yeah.
definitely feel like Oda is not above subverting expectations in that
Yeah.
manner. Because if you look at the islands that get liberated throughout the Straw Hats' journey, who ends up taking a prominent role in said island after the end of the arc? It's whatever princess of that arc.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever you consider the female lead of that arc, she takes a pronounced role after said arc is finished. Drum Island, you had Kureha take over as the leader. Alabasta, you had Vivi, Dressrosa, you had Vivi, and what's her face, the daughter Rebecca. You're pretty sure it's Rebecca, right?
Yeah.
That's yeah. So it's like I definitely and it also is just like personal fandom. Like I want Yamato to join the Straw Hats as well. And I think
Yeah.
Yamato will say, I'm gonna protect Odin's son. That's gonna be what I'm gonna do. Because Momo said when he read the journal, there's things I need to do in this world. That Odin figured out on his journey with Roger. So we have to figure out what
Well,
those
that's why
things.
I said like with Wano, because like they were so emphasized about Wano though, like even the history, the fleshed out, like like the way it is. I felt like there's something about Wano
My
that.
I think it has to relate to like helping Luffy on this journey. I think that's why the borders had to be open. I feel like whoever Joy the new Joy Boy is, that the Kazuki clan needs to help that individual. I think that's what Odin found out in his book. And that's what Momonosuke read like, oh crap. If Luffy is the person I think he is, then I think I need to help him reach whatever his end goal is. And I think Yamato's
True.
like, hey, I need to help you because you're trying to do whatever Odin's trying to do. And I'm also Yamato also wants to go out to sea. That's
Yeah.
Yamato's dream. Yamato's dream is to leave
Like I said,
Wano.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but I just felt like who is like, because to me it's like I get that like having Momo is kind of great dynamic to the Straw Hats, but seeing this perspective um like Odin wrote a lot of things in his adventures, just like thing, but we do remember that like Rayleigh said, the more you look into things might there's things that you might have missed that you got into conclusion. So maybe yes, they know some stuff, but not fully know some stuff. And they can't prevent that stuff because maybe the prophecy or other stuff hasn't fulfilled yet. Like for Joy Boy's sake, like I felt like when it's thing the border, I feel like it's something that is representative of like the when the Skypia about what was it, the sun, like the thing, it could be a combine between like why is there a role poneglyph in in Wano, and why is it such a like why is it the language, why is it such a cement, because maybe Wano was actually in the moon too, you never know.
Yes, possible. And I'll also say that the Straw Hats also have everything Momonosuke would need to one day be Shogun. Because no one taught him how to read the poneglyphs. Like Robin could teach him. And then he needs to learn how to be a great samurai, Zoro. So the Straw Hats do have the necessary components that he needs that he was never able to get taught because his dad passed away early. So that's also another reason why I think he fits on the
That's
crew.
Yeah, but I also feel like it's more like I want Yamato to train him because Yamato is strong in some sense, and especially the taverns. They know Odin slash. They
The
think.
Scabbards aren't that like
I mean,
how
even
many of
if
them are still alive? That's
listen,
my
I
question.
mean, even if they're thing, they know Odin's specialties. I doubt Zoro knows about that.
If Doji was still alive, I would be yeah. Doji could teach him. I'm not guess Denjiro's is
The
alive.
scabbers, some of the scabbers are still alive. I know that, but some of like the others are dead. I know.
I think the only ones who are still alive are Denjiro, Izo,
Mm-hmm.
Raizo, Inuarashi, Nekomamushi, and
Yeah.
no, yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's why I feel like
Oh,
uh,
Kawamatsu.
Kamamatsu, yeah. I feel like they could teach him the style of Odin because they've been with Odin so much and they've seen the style of Odin as much. And even Nekomamushi, they were in Roger's group at one point, sailing around with Thing and saying, "Hey, you should adapt what your dad's style is because you have the sword. You remember the swords,
Yeah.
the stuff." So in to me, like, if he's gonna train, he wants to be like, like the represent as this as a Kazuki, you must train like how his dad was. Even if, because to me it's like Zoro doesn't even know the thing. Like, as much as I want Momo to train with Zoro, he does not know Odin's style.
Yeah, but like,
That was the thing that slashed freaking uh uh Kaido.
but I will say because he will naturally have one sword because because Zoro has the other of the two sword style. So like,
Everybody had one sword when they did the Odin slash.
is this true?
So they had one sword. So when they did Odin slash. So I'm just gonna throw this out just to be funny. Could
Mhm.
be when he turns human and he had the sword with him. Could it be the final attack? No, let's just say Luffy's not gonna be the one who's punching. Let's just say the person who would kill. Everybody's saying is Kaido. Kid. I have a feeling it is Momonosuke is the one that's gonna kill Kaido now.
It's poetic. Like, has
Mhm.
I
Luffy?
have a feeling that he is gonna kill Kaido with the sword
He
representing.
should. Like Tengen, Tengu Yama needs to like somehow Tengu has the other sword. So the issue is how does Momo get the sword from Tengu which is who is like far away. So I guess he could fly there, get it, and come back hypothetically.
Yeah,
Um, so it's like, but I Kaido has to die at the end of the arc. I think there's no questions about that. There is no prison that can hold Kaido.
I
He
have a
needs to
feeling.
die.
I have a feeling. You know how Luffy likes to big entrance, like very big entrance. I have a feeling that when Kaido got knocked down, he's gonna be knocked down by where the festival are, where crash, right, and that's where Tayo Mama, and then he's gonna say, and you know how range Momo is, like, you killed, that thing, and maybe
Yeah.
this is time to kill Kaido, and actually killed Kaido. It could be.
No, yeah, like Kaido, like this is not a villain you could just knock out and walk away. No, no,
Yeah.
no. Kaido has to die at the end of the arc.
All right.
Facts.
All right. Let's move into One Piece 1024. And let's pull up the samurai and the straw hat fight back. So what do you guys think about this this page right here where everybody else were fighting back, especially the samurais?
It was good to see where everyone get an update, see where everyone was at. Like I thought that's a good way to space out all the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Would agree. It's definitely an update we needed. Just seeing the state of the battle outside of those the fights from the previous chapter, like the head name fights. Just see where like the rest of the Straw Hats are, how the samurai are doing, especially with like the last number update we got, because it's like the majority of the Allied forces at this point are not samurai.
Mhm.
Yes.
So it's nice to see that the samurai are still kicking.
Okay, that is true. All right, and then let's go to Kaido versus Yamato, the juicy part. So, where do you think? Who wants to start this? this Kaido versus Yamato. And let me ask you this question: Who are you, Team Kaido or Team Yamato?
In what respect? Like in terms of who do you
Any,
like better,
yeah.
or
Who do you like better? Who do you think that?
I mean, Kaido is like like in terms of manga dads. I'm curious to see where Kaido ranks in terms of manga slash anime parents, because he's always there for Yamato. I just don't think in the way that they would prefer. Um, like Yamato's backstory is very touching, where it's like I don't understand what's Kaido's end goal. How do you go from Yamato's like 8 at this point in time? Like what like kids will say, "Oh yeah, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this character, I'm that character." Your response shouldn't be, "Oh, I guess I have to kill you then." Like Kaido didn't try at all to be a parent to his only child. Like he legit just threw them in a dungeon at the first glance of issues.
Yeah,
Um, and then killed anyone that was nice to said child. Like Kaido, bro, what happened in your childhood? Like how did Kaido become Kaido? So I think that's the backstory we all need. Kaido, what happened to you? Like, why are you this way? Like, what happened along your journey that turned you into the person that doesn't even care about the health of his own kid? Like, again, this is an 8-year old. You're like, toss him in the dungeon, fight for your
yeah.
life. Like, bruh, that was wild. In terms of the
Yeah.
fighting, what was that?
No, continue. What do you think, Vorpal? What about you?
I'm really liking it. I think Kaido is joining the well-known deadbeat dad club. Uh, but that's okay. I didn't really expect it. I didn't have high hopes. You know, this is a manga. I didn't have high hopes for a good father here. I mean, look at Dragon. Um,
I still think I like Dragon better though.
as far as who's a better dad, I guess you could say Dragon. I mean, he left Luffy with Garp, someone who didn't leave the kid to starve to death.
No, I think he has a reason because he knows he's gonna take on the world, and he can't really take care of a child if you're doing something dangerous. You
I
know.
mean, yeah. That's I think Dragon definitely has a little more leeway on being an absentee father than Kaido being like, "Oh, you're calling yourself Odin? Well, I'll just let you starve in jail for a month."
That's why I prefer Dragon because he took care of Sabo. Remember?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I like the backstory. It's really cute. Their fight is sick. One of the, like I had been waiting to see Yamato fight because I wanted to find out if she was like a carbon copy of Kaido or not. And while they are very similar, and it does look like a mirror matchup, which is sick, uh, some of Yamato's moves are interesting. Like, where is it? One of them is like some mirror or something
Mm-hmm.
that she uses to like defend, which was cool. She's got her own blast breath that we've seen, just like Kaido. She does fight like a brawler because she's got the club. She's got her own Thunder Bagua. Um, I'm liking the slugfest we got going on.
I agree.
Okay.
It's throwing hands. They're I
All
like
right.
it.
What do you think, Manga After Dark?
In terms of the fighting, yeah, it's great. Like all the diversity of
Like
techniques Yamato has. Like it's really nice. Like Oda just I can't wait for this to get animated. That's
also the
what
backstory?
Oh yeah, it's a really touching backstory where it's like your dad is locking you in prison, killing anyone that shows you compassion. But again, for what reason? Like Kaido has a hatred of humans like Arlong has of humans. So like are we gonna like get some like Kaido has a persecution backstory where it's like I was a normal well adjusted Oni and then those damn humans with their racism tormented me and my like Oda, give us Kaido's backstory.
He's holding out. Okay. Let's actually move on to. Oh, sorry. Okay. So let's go to 1025.
Oh,
Um,
but let's say
oh,
before we do one other thing on 1024, the backstory.
yeah.
Everyone's been speculating that this samurai in Yamato's
Oh yeah.
pages
Yeah.
is Zoro's dad.
Oh, we'll say
Um,
that. Listen, we'll say that at the end. What we have that, so you could refer that. So let's just finish
okay.
this thing. Okay. So let's go to 1000. Before we go to that, what would you rank this? Really quick for me would be 10 out of 8 because it was really good story for me, like a lot of backstory of it, and I think you get the general of the character itself. Manga After Dark, what do you rank
Yeah, I also
this?
give it an 8 out of 10. Yamato's backstory is really touching. We got to see them fight and like Yamato hold their own. The Conqueror's hockey clash at the end was really epic. Zoro's possible dad, seeing that in the chapter. So yeah, overall, I would say an 8 out of 10 chapter.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Verpal?
I think we're all in agreement. This is definitely a solid 8 out of 10.
Okay. So let's go to 1025. Luffy encourage Momo.
That's what you
I,
can call
yeah. So yeah, so like I'm not a fan of the wasting half the chapter with a joke thing. Like that's a lot of panel time we wasted having Luffy like steering Momo to the rooftop. I guess it was needed given the latest chapter with the update and everything, but like that could have been done in a lot less time.
I feel like they could have just smashed it to the other and make it the last one. It would have been better. You know, I don't know. It's just I agree with you. It's like thing, but honestly, encouraging it just reminds me of the thing that he already did it twice. I feel like he's already doing it when Momo's thing. I don't want that. It's like he needs to be convicted. But what do you think, Verpal?
it. I'm gonna buck the trend here a little. I liked the Luffy riding Momo all the way through Onigashima. I thought it was hilarious that despite being 28, despite being bigger, despite being a giant ass dragon, Momo's like, yo, hold on, I gotta position myself so I can fly blind. like, I'm afraid of heights. Like, I really liked it. I thought it was funny. I like getting everyone's reactions to being like, "What the fuck? There's a pink dragon!" Um,
Yeah.
I thought it was good. I enjoyed the dynamic between Luffy and Momo. So like every time I get it, I eat it up. But um,
Yeah.
it wasn't too bad. I mean,
Mm,
the chapter did start with some more slugging between Kaido and Yamato. So
okay. Yeah, that is true. They had a fight, so that's true. It's thing. Okay, so Momo. Okay, let's go back to um this one. Momo fly back to Oregon Extreme. I think we all covered it. That's
Yeah.
funny. This one, the world does not need.
That was a cool quote to end the chapter with from Kaido. Like Kaido has these really cool one-liners. Um, so yeah, so this is gonna be uh
The last one we
the
can
way.
discuss.
Yeah, this is when Kaido basically indirectly teaches Momo how to use the devil fruit. So this is how I'm viewing this interaction as. Um, Momo's going to slowly bring out all these techniques after watching Kaido use them. Maybe Yamato can even give Momo some hints, like, "Hey, like I talk when Kaido does his blast breath. This is the emotion that he's
Are you
gaining." Or
saying? Are you saying this is like a category versus?
yes, Yes. I think this is how, by the end of this fight, Momo's gonna somehow have control of all these different abilities. This is what I expect to happen.
That means he's a shogun. That's what
I
I said.
wouldn't say I wouldn't mind it if like I wouldn't mind that because it's not like Momo's like getting all these like crazy hockey buffs. He's just learning how to use his devil fruit, which is fine. Kaido's had like 30, almost 40 years with the dragon fruit, so Momo's getting literal first hand teaching. So that I can stomach that. That's not too bad. I really liked Luffy's arrival on the rooftop. The jet culvering is my favorite Gear Fourth move. Um, I like Culverin and Python are sick. Like, I love that Luffy talks to them and that they like infinitely stretch. That combined with Yamato's White Serpent, I just thought that intro was sick. Kaido getting laid out again, right as Luffy comes back.
That's really good. Okay, so what would you rank this chapter, guys?
I, I would
Dude,
give this, I'd say 7.5 out of 10. The the interesting bits were really interesting, but we wasted a lot of time with the crashing through Onigashima. Um, so I would say 7.5 out of 10. The Jet Culverin panel was really cool. Can't wait to see Luffy's new and improved Gear Fourth. So a lot of stuff to get excited
We can
for.
talk about it in 1026. There's an exciting thing there later on, so I'm excited to talk about that Friday. But what do you think, Verpal?
I never actually noticed that. That's funny. Uh, I'll go with an 8 out of 10 for this one as well. I like that for one. This confirms Yamato, like the previous chapter in the flashback, and then doubling down on it. Not only does Yamato have Conqueror's Haki, she also knows how to use coding. Um, I again, Jet Culverine panel with White Serpent was sick. I personally did like Luffy and Yamato crashing through. Just looking through the panels right now, I didn't even notice that like when they got to the rooftop, you can see in the background of one of Yamato's panels of Momo freaking out as he's like slowly slinking up. Um, I thought that was funny. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Kaido, Kaido is the king of one-liners so far in One Piece.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
the man's just letting him go.
All
Uh,
right. All right. So before we continue, we should do a Q&A where we have a one question for our audience. And this one is one question. It says, "Do you think the raid will end by the end of Wano, or is something else in the island that will be a threat?"
I definitely think the raid will be the end of the arc. Whether or not the Marines are going to try to chase, like CP0 has some type of purpose. Like they need to do something. And I think that something is when Kaido falls, let's call the Marines. Y'all gotta pull up. Kaido's like down for the count. Um, it's either that or the big mom pirates are gonna chase people off, but that's come on. No one takes them seriously. So I think it's more likely CP0 is gonna like call the Marines. The Marines are gonna pull up because Drake is also there. So maybe Drake calls the Marines and then they're gonna like try to take control of the situation, and then maybe like the samurai will like protect the straw hats, or it's like the Marines pull up and like no, we don't let the Marines step foot on Wano or something like that. Like because like at the beginning of this entire arc, Akainu said we can't go to Wano because the samurai are too strong. No, they're not. But like maybe we can see something at the end of the arc that's like, all right, we got some decent people there now that Kaido's gone. Like his crew's now morphed
I
into.
think they're scared of things because of Kaido. That's why the Marines are not stepping in there.
But then that's what she just said. Like, don't say we're scared of the samurai. Say yo, Kaido's there. Let's not pull up. Um, but like, I definitely feel like something is going to chase the Straw Hats to another island.
Okay. All right.
um, I remember the whole lurking legend quote of like there's a lurking legend on Wano,
Mhm.
and I'm still wondering like what is that? Because so far the closest we have is like I guess CP0. But they're not even like a legend. So then my next guess would be Kaido himself, but it would be weird for Oda to like give us the whole there's a lurking legend on Wano, but we're going for Kaido, so like obviously it would be really weird. I wonder if it has like I'm curious to see if it has anything to do with the skull on Onigashima. Because like what is that? Clearly something used to be alive that was that large that left the skull that big.
Maybe that was the God Valley, because everybody theorizing that was the God Valley.
Possibly Onigashima isn't a part of Wano. Um, there's not like a section of Wano that Onigashima came from. So I
Okay.
think the raid ending could be the end, but maybe.
Mhm. All right. So before we do that, let's go to. I guess that's the question. All right. Let's end the stream. So let's. Okay. That wrap. Do you have anything that you want to talk about? Like we could talk about it on later on during next week, because I think we're running out of time. So we are gonna be talking about the theory. I know we hadn't discussed, but like I said, we're gonna be talking about that theory uh on a thing, so that way we will have our clear minds next week. So before we end it, that is a wrap. Be sure to watch our podcast again Monday, Black Clover, One Piece on Friday. Thank you very much. If you want any more, if you want to see more content, follow our social media, subscribe, hit the notification button below. One big thanks for all of us in Otaku International. Virpal, say
Y'all have a good
bye.
night.